Hello viewers, this is News Your Way, where you get accurate and credible information. Viewers, on the 2nd of July 2021, News Your Way posted a story about a killer's confession. Do you remember that story? Let me see if I can drag your memory a little bit. Do you recall the story of the man named Winston Jarrett, who was having an affair with his wife's sister and killed her because he thought she was giving him bun? If you haven't seen that video, you can find the link in the description box below. Go ahead and watch that video and then come back to this one. Alright, here is the latest on that matter. Winston Jarrett, the 62-year-old Senton man who killed his teenage sister-in-law with whom he was having a sexual relationship, has been in and out of prison since he was 19 years old. Now Mr. Jarrett will likely die in prison. Now hear why I say that. News Your Way Media has all the exclusive details of his criminal history. But first, viewers, remember to hit the subscribe button, as well as to like and share this and the other videos. Alright, back to the story. Today, July 15, 2021, Winston Jarrett was sentenced by Chief Justice Brian Sykes to 25 years in prison with no possibility of parole, and this is for stabbing his wife's sister, Julanna Whyte, to death. Remember earlier I said that News Your Way has exclusive details of Mr. Jarrett's criminal history? Well, 10 days ago, Mr. Jarrett was also sentenced to 28 years in prison for murder, this time for stabbing 65-year-old Daniel Wishart to death in 2012 for refusing to pay him for a painting job. Mr. Jarrett was arrested and charged for Mr. Wishart's murder in 2012. However, the married watchman reportedly absconded bail and was on the run up to February last year when he confessed to killing Julanna. Justice Sykes ordered that Mr. Jarrett should begin serving the 25-year sentence for Julanna's death after he's finished serving the 28-year prison sentence for killing Mr. Wishart, which means he most likely will die in prison. Remember now, Mr. Jarrett is 62 years old. Chief Judge explained that his decision was based on Mr. Jarrett's long criminal history, which dates back to 1978. Now viewers, this is the part that is mind-boggling. Pay keen attention to this man's criminal history and tell me, comment below and tell me how this man was afforded so much freedom and absconded justice for Mr. Wishart's murder to the point where he committed a second murder before the justice system caught up to him. News Your Way Media can report that Mr. Jarrett's first conviction came in July 1978, 2 months after his 19th birthday. He was convicted in the St. Anne Parish Court for shop breaking and larceny and was sentenced to 35 days in prison at hard labor. That was in 1978, viewers. 8 months later, in March 1979, Mr. Jarrett had his second conviction in the St. Anne Parish Court, this time for housebreaking and larceny. Remember now, the first was shop breaking and larceny, and this one is housebreaking and larceny. For this one, he was sentenced to 9 months in prison at hard labor. Viewers, his third conviction was in June 1980 and again was in the St. Anne Parish Court for shop breaking and larceny. This time, he was given 12 months at hard labor. Check the levels, viewers. He was convicted in 1978, 1979, 1980 and skipped 1 year because he was in prison for 12 months. By April 1982, Mr. Jarrett was back in prison, convicted in the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court for indecent assault and sentenced to 2 years at hard labor. Now, by 1982, Mr. Jarrett stepped up his thing from larceny and breaking into assault, indecent assault. Convictions number 5 and 6 for the offenses of carnal abuse came in March 1985, resulting in a sentence of 12 years in prison at hard labor. Just over 10 years later, in August 1995, he had convictions number 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 in the Sutton Street Resident Magistrates Court for the offenses of forgery, uttering forged documents, obtaining money by forged documents, and conspiracy. Get this, he was spared more time in prison after the judge gave him a suspended sentence. But 2 years later, viewers, in July 1997, Mr. Jarrett was back in prison. He was convicted for housebreaking and larceny and unlawful wounding in the St. Anne Parish Court and sentenced to 2 years at hard labor for each offense. His 15th conviction was in 2002 in the St. Anne Circuit Court, where he was found guilty of indecent assault and given a 3-year suspended sentence. Now, viewers, having heard all of these incidences and convictions, what are your thoughts? Was the justice system too lenient with Mr. Jarrett? Could longer sentences have prevented him from committing other crimes? Let us know in the comment section below. We want to hear from you. This has been News Your Way.